Brian Charles from Nitty Gritty Studios here. And today we're going to take a quick look at CoreMelt's new and exciting plugin for Final Cut Pro 10, PaintX. Now, anybody familiar with DriveX or Lock and Load, SliceX, TrackX, or Chromatic, which is CoreMelt's great color grading plugin for Final Cut Pro 10, you're going to be very, very happy with PaintX, as it is an incredible plugin that essentially brings a number of low-level visual effects into range finally, internally inside Final Cut Pro 10. So today we're just going to take a look at a couple of the functions. First, we're going to draw some text right on the screen with some paint strokes and have it track this gentleman running across there. Then we're going to blur out some faces here and track those. And finally, for the big finale, we're going to clone out from this image right over here, this top part of the telephone pole and light. So if we hop back to our first guy here, let me just go ahead and select all of our clips, navigate into the C2 PaintX portion of your effect browser here, and double click on it to apply it to all the clips. Just go up over here into the inspector, and you'll find underneath your effects, tracked paint, click open editor. And this opens up the PaintX editor. Now, first things first is we're going to track this guy running across the screen, because that's what we want the strokes that we're going to create to track to. And running across, we have your select and edit tool. We have your pan tool where you can drag the image. We have your paint color tool, your change color tool, your blur tool, your smear tool, a sharpen tool, a warp tool, a clone tool, add noise, heal, and erase. Now let's go ahead and move this to fit. We'll select our paint color tool, and we'll literally just paint on this guy's face right here. Now you see here on the left, layers and strokes. In this layer, one brush stroke is here. You can change the opacity of this by clicking here and dragging, but you can also completely deselect it like that. And you can go down to the bottom here where this paint stroke has been created, and you can go ahead and change the size of it. You can change the softness, the aspect ratio, and the opacity. Now what we're going to do is we're going to track forward by using this little track forward button right here. Now let's go ahead and draw some paint strokes on the image. So if we go up here to our paint color, let's go ahead and make this a little smaller and a little very hard. And let's go ahead and draw an arrow to this guy. And let's go ahead and write giraffe, because that is totally what this guy is doing across the stage here. Now, because these brush strokes are within the same layer that we've created the track from this on as face from, that track information is automatically applied to any brush strokes in here. So all we have to do is deselect that original brush stroke and go ahead and hit play. And you'll see the text now is attached to the tracking data from that initial paint stroke. Pretty cool if you ask me. Now, if you go ahead and select the layer again, we go over to here to the options for tracking, do translation only, and hit play. You'll see that the text no longer goes in and out in that three-dimensional sense, but just tracks across the screen with the character. All right, let's go ahead and jump to this next shot right here, where we're going to blur some faces. So go ahead and click Open Editor. Okay, so let's say we wanted to blur her face right here for the entire shot, for whatever reason. This is just a tutorial. So let's go ahead and grab the blur tool up over here. We'll go onto her face, and we'll start blurring it out. This might take a couple different strokes depending on how thick you want the blurriness to be. That's blurry enough, I think. Let's go ahead and hit the track button. And again, I have gone ahead and sped this track up in post, but it didn't take too long in real time. Now, as you can see, the track pretty much worked up till here, at which point one of her eyes came into view, and then by the end, basically the top part of her face is in view. So what we can do to fix this without retracking it is you can go ahead and select your layer over here, select your pointer tool, your select and edit, and you can literally drag that up a little bit like that, and go ahead and widen it out a little bit. So now the tracking data has remained the same, but the blur has moved so that it covers her entire face throughout. Now, we've just done this quickly for the sake of the tutorial. You can fine-tune these things as you see fit. Now, last but not least, let's head over to this final shot. And for the grand finale, we are going to clone out this top half of the pole. So we're going to basically utilize things that we've been doing already. Go ahead and grab your paint color tool, and we're going to go ahead and paint over this pole. There we go. And then down. Doesn't have to be perfect, really, because we're going to hit track right there. And again, I've fast-forwarded this in post. All right, so we've got our tracking information now. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go ahead and turn that brush stroke off there, the color brush. Now, in the same layer, we're going to go to our clone tool. All right, now let's go ahead and zoom in and move our image over. And go ahead and make that a little bit bigger, make that much softer, and select the area in the image that you want to clone from. Hold down the Option key and click it. Then go over to the area you want to clone away and simply start going over. Now, I like to use as few strokes as possible when I'm first starting out. When you have to move to a new area, again, just Option click where you want to clone from. All right, now we're going to move this down a little bit and back to the clone. Select these clouds here and go ahead and clone that out there. So what we're going to do down over here is we're going to go to the Erase tool. Select your eraser. Now this stroke, this paintbrush size and shape doesn't help us really because we want a straight edge over here. Now they don't have options for straight brushes yet, but what you can do is turn the softness all the way down, turn the aspect ratio all the way down. So now you get this flattened sort of long elliptical. You can change the angle so it's just a little more to the angle of the pole. And then literally just click on the area right below where you want to heal from. And that will have erased the blurriness. Now if we go ahead and zoom out to fit and hit play on this, you can see it does a fairly good job considering how quickly I just did that. Now if I really, really, really wanted to make this look great, of course, I could spend a lot more time on this, refining the different blending of the clone into the image itself. But for a 2-minute job on something that you would have usually had to spend to special effects, this does a really great job of it. All right, guys, well, that's it for now. We'll dive in deeper to this later on in another tutorial, probably. I just wanted to give you a quick preview as to some of the awesome features in CoreMelt's new plugin for Final Cut Pro XX, PaintX. That's it now. Take it easy, guys. Don't forget to check out FCPXmarksthespot.com for all your Final Cut needs.